There's a lost Bluey episode only whispered about. They call it The Staircase That Wasn't There. It aired once, maybe less. Some say it was never meant to air at all. The episode begins like any other. Bluey and Bingo are playing hide and seek in their house. Bandit counts loudly. Chili laughs from the kitchen. Everything feels normal. Until Bluey hides in a new place. A door under the stairs. A door that wasn't there before. It's small, barely big enough for her to crawl through. She hesitates, but Bingo finds her giggling. They both squeeze inside. On the other side, a staircase, leading down, much deeper than the house should allow. The walls are bare concrete. The air smells damp and cold. The steps seem to stretch forever into the dark. Bingo jokes maybe it goes to the center of the earth. Bluey laughs nervously. They descend, step after step. The light behind them fades. The house above seems to vanish. The further they go, the colder it gets, and the darker. Their voices echo strangely. The stairs twist and turn, sometimes leading sideways, sometimes looping. They find doors along the way, small wooden doors, each one slightly ajar. Behind them, things move, shapes, figures they can't quite see. Bingo gets scared. She begs to go back. Bluey agrees, but when they turn around, the staircase behind them looks different. The steps are cracked, broken. The path they came from, gone. Only more stairs leading down. They keep walking. They pass a window set into the stone wall. Outside it shows their house, but wrong. The sky is red. The trees are twisted. No one is there, just emptiness. Bingo starts crying. Bluey promises to find a way back. They keep going, down, always down. Hours seem to pass, days maybe. Their paws hurt, their voices weaken, but the stairs never end. Finally they see another door, this one made of heavy metal. Without thinking they push it open. Behind it, a hallway. Familiar, the hallway of their home, but too quiet, too still. They step inside. The door slams shut behind them. They run to their room. Their beds are there, their toys, but the windows show nothing outside, only endless black. The final scene shows Bluey and Bingo lying in bed, wide-eyed, listening in the distance the sound of slow, heavy footsteps, climbing the stairs, getting closer. The screen fades to black, no music, no voices, only the sound of steps, never stopping. There's a Bluey episode almost no one remembers, or maybe they choose not to. It's called The Girl Behind the Glass. Some say it aired once late at night and then disappeared forever. No records. Only rumors and those who still remember what they saw. It started like any normal day. Bluey and Bingo were playing inside their house. The weather was cloudy. Gray light filled the rooms. Everything looked a little washed out. Bingo suggested a new game. Let's play mirror match. She pointed to the large window facing the backyard. You copy me and I copy you. They both giggled and pressed their noses against the glass. At first it was innocent fun. They raised their arms, twirled around, made silly faces. The reflections followed just as they should, but then something shifted. Bluey raised her right arm. Bingo raised her left like a mirror would. But the Bingo in the window didn't move. It just stood still, frozen. Bluey laughed nervously, thinking it was part of the game. She waved again. The Bingo in the glass tilted its head, not copying, just different. The real Bingo tugged at Bluey's paw. I'm tired, let's play something else. She skipped away from the window. Bluey stayed, staring at the frozen reflection. Something about the eyes. They were too wide. The smile stretched just a little too much. That night things got worse. Bluey woke to tapping. Soft rhythmic taps against the glass. She sat up in bed. The backyard window was across the room, barely visible in the moonlight. But she saw her, Bingo, standing outside, pressing her face against the glass. Only it wasn't Bingo. The real Bingo was asleep, tucked safely in bed. Bluey whispered, afraid to make a sound. The figure outside smiled. It wasn't a kind smile, it was stretched. Wrong. Slowly, it lifted its hand and tapped once more against the glass. In the morning, Bluey told her parents. They smiled nervously and said she must have had a bad dream. They pulled the curtains tighter, locked the windows. But every night Bluey heard it, the tapping, and every night if she dared to look, there she was, the other Bingo, moving on her own, scraping her hands down the glass, mouthing silent words Bluey couldn't understand. Sometimes she would press her palm flat against the window. Sometimes she would just stand and tilt her head, watching. The last night Bluey woke not to tapping but to breathing, slow, wet, heavy. The window was open, curtains fluttered against the cold air. Bluey didn't want to look, but something inside her did. She turned her head ever so slowly. And there, sitting at the end of her bed, was Bingo, or what looked like Bingo. The real Bingo slept soundly, back turned to the horror. The thing at the end of the bed smiled, and in the softest, sweetest voice it whispered, "Your turn to follow me now." The screen faded to black. No ending scene, no music, no laughter. Just the long, soft sound of something dragging across glass. Then, silence. There's a lost Bluey episode only spoken about in hushed tones. They call it The Night Bus. It was never officially released. Only fragments of memory and a few screenshots remain. The episode began with Bluey and Bingo waiting with Bandit at a bus stop. It was already late. The sky was dark and the streetlights flickered. They were supposed to catch the last bus home. The air felt heavy, thick, as if the world was holding its breath. The bus pulled up. It looked normal, at first. Bluey and Bingo climbed aboard, waving at the driver, but he didn't wave back. He didn't even move. His face was hidden under the brim of his cap. Bandit sat with them for a few minutes, then smiled and said, "I'll see you two at home." He stepped off the bus. The doors hissed closed, and the bus pulled away. Bluey and Bingo looked out the window, but the streets didn't look right. Buildings were twisted, street signs blurred. People on the sidewalks didn't move, they just stood, staring. The further the bus went, the darker it became. Inside the bus, the other passengers were silent, staring forward, their faces wrong, smudged, like old paintings left in the rain. Bluey squeezed Bingo's paw. "I want to go home," she whispered. The bus didn't stop, it just kept driving, faster now. The lights outside grew dimmer, and the shadows inside the bus grew longer, stretching, reaching. One figure stood up, slowly. Its arms were too long, its face an empty gaping hole. It began walking toward them, step by step. Bingo cried, Bluey shouted, "Stop the bus!" No one moved, not the driver, not the passengers. The thing came closer, its hollow face just inches away. And then, the bus jolted to a stop. Bluey grabbed Bingo's paw and ran. They pushed past the silent passengers, fell out into the street. The town was wrong, silent. The buildings loomed at odd angles. The sky was a deep, choking black. No stars, no moon. Only the faint sound of footsteps. Many footsteps, approaching from all sides. They ran, down alleys, around corners. But the city twisted endlessly. No way out. The episode ended with Bluey and Bingo standing under a broken streetlight, alone, shivering, listening to the footsteps growing louder, closer. The screen slowly faded to black. No credits, no music, only the sound of a bus engine idling in the darkness.